Dave Newrath. Last week, Dave, Jack Calhoun bowled a 265 to become our new king.
Phenomenal scores, but we expected them out of Jack.
241 average. Every week we get better and better.
Well, it's going to be tough to top last week's show, Fred, but we're still going to have a very exciting program today with the talent we have to work with. We can't help but see a few good numbers.
You talk about the talent we have to work with in the first game. Right off the bat, a rematch of a championship game 2 weeks ago between Bill Heflin and Rick Pollard.
That's right. Rick Pollard, strong, cranker, high backswing, follows through, creates a lot of action with the pins, whereas Bill Heflin, a little more methodical, a little more direct. We're going to see two contrasting styles, but very close games, I'm sure.
Tell us about our high qualifier this week, Tim Sharp.
Timmy Sharp is in a class all of his own. He's slow, he's deliberate, but he's a cranker as opposed to Rick Pollard, where he cranks it up and throws hard. Timmy cranks it up and throws soft.
All right, Dave, Rick Pollard and Bill Heflin in our first game, and it's coming up next on the BPA King of Bowling. Stones Lanes, I'm Fred Khalil along with Dave Newrath. Our championship game pits Tim Sharp against our king, Jack Calhoun. Tell us about Jack.
Jack, as we saw last week, throw the ball. It's full roller, unique style to Jack Calhoun. Striking there again. Jack says, I think I've got it.
Jack Calhoun last week bowled a 265 in a great game, and he will lead off now on the left lane. That's given some right-handers a little bit of trouble.
That's right, Fred. That's why he's leading off on it, so he can finish on the right lane, the strong lane for all the right-handers today. The experience, the savoir-faire, whatever you want to call it, Jack Calhoun is going to call on all his years of experience to try to defeat one of the young lions out here, Tim Sharp, having more experience than your average bowler, but he's a young man. He's, what is he, 24?
Tim Sharp,
Tim Sharp is 24 years old.
Ooh.
There's where the slow speed got him in trouble. The right lane, finishing harder. We're going to watch Tim Sharp get this ball in a little bit, slow up. There we saw it crossing the 11th board, going up and down. Look at the sharp break coming in on the back, cutting through, leaving the 4, the 7, the 6, the 9, the 10. Creating a very difficult spare to shoot cross lane, go for 3, maybe 4.
You almost need Andy Verapapa with 2 balls to bring that one home.
That's a tough one. That's a very difficult shot. There's a couple of ways to make it, none of which are that reliable. You have to just count on lady luck to sit on your shoulder when you're shooting a spare. Every time bowlers set up on the left lane, we see a good shot of Rich Hill there at the score table in the red shirt. He's been our standby several weeks now, been throwing the ball real well lately. Threw a couple of pins over that way, Fred, but just couldn't get there.
7-pin for Tim Sharp. Bill Seibel on hand today from Durban Bowl. Over across the river in Indiana, Tom Gray, as always, here from Lassanaville Lanes, along with Sam Coleman from Coleman Lanes, tournament chairman.
I was going to say that ball's got to get going because it was not in an area to cover. Breaking off sharply, covering the spare on the back end. Sam Coleman, who is the king of memorabilia around the greater Cincinnati area when it comes to bowling, as we watch Jack Calhoun set up on the right lane, calling on his years of experience to open the show with the 2-5, coming light. He's made the adjustment on the right lane. Watched him there in shadow balls, as we're going to see him here on a split screen. Watch him. He thinks he throws it well. Gets underneath it, hits his mark. He's going to give it a little help. Come on, get up the hill. Not quite the roll-off that he anticipated, leaving the 2-5. This is choppable, but not for Jack Calhoun that time.
Jack bowled the second highest game ever on television, a 288, and that was at Mill Creek Bowl, and that was brought to my attention by you, as you said, Dave, Sam Coleman, the king of memorabilia.
Jack Calhoun, 20 in the first. Tim Sharp, 8. 12-pin deficit. Jack Calhoun on the lane where he opened with a beautiful, beautiful strike. Let's see if he remembered what he did. Helping the ball up the hill, cutting through the head pin very sharply, breaking down the split, leaving the 610. Again, a choppable spare, but Jack is going to shoot from the extreme left side of the lane, kill the ball. By that I mean take a little bit of roll, a little bit of hook off, and hopefully cover both pins with the ball.
Jack is a 3-time city match game champ, all city first team 5 times. He's in the Cincinnati Bowling Association's Hall of Fame. He's done it all. Oh, man.
Like I said, standing extremely far to the left, shooting cross lane. He killed that ball, taking a little bit off, as we're going to see here on the replay. Watch his hand. Just do nothing to the ball. Watch it skid out very sharply there, never having a chance to break back, just missing the 6-pin by maybe a ½ an inch there, Fred.
That really helps out Tim Sharp if he can get one here.
Back-to-back week 7s. The bad thing, I brought up the strong point about Tim Sharp's game is the strong revs, the slow speed. When there's a lot of oil out there, Tim Sharp will just beat knots on your head. But when the back end is finishing as strongly as it's finishing today, his lack of speed causes the ball to roll out just as it's entering the pocket, therefore not having the authority to send the 5 over and take out that 7-pin the way it's supposed to.
Tim Sharp with a spare in the 3rd frame. That gives him a 27. We haven't seen, Dave, the string of strikes as we've seen in past weeks. Tough line today at Stones Lanes.
It is. It is. Stones always gives you a nice competitive condition, but you've got to be willing to make the moves and have the background to know when to move, and that's all part of this great game. It'd get a little boring if we threw strikes all the time.
Not for me. It's not when I'm bowling. There's a 7 for Tim Sharp.
Again, cutting through sharply, leaving the 3-6-10 as we're going to see here on the replay. We're going to watch Tim's ball roll down the lane and go up high through the head pin, taking the head pin, which is the center of your screen, straight back. Nothing having a chance to do what it's supposed to do on the right-hand side. He's
got that late break.
He certainly does. I thought we was going to see another one there, another open frame.
He trails by just 3 pins. Working on a spare, Jack Calhoun could help his own cause by stringing a couple together.
He's certainly good, Fred. He's got to get on the strike shot right here. He threw that ball with some authority. Let's see what happens.
Yes, sir. That time it did go down.
Excellent. You could just see it in his release, Fred. He was pumped up. He knows that he's got to get striking here, and he threw the ball with a little more authority. As we're going to see on the replay, Jack Calhoun gets through this ball as strongly as he has any ball this match. Getting up the hill, no deflection here. Very little anyway. The 5-pin going in front of the 7-pin, but there's so many pins over there, it just pushes it over. Left lane could really help his cause out by making it a double. Coming up high again on the left lane.
We are in the 5th frame of our championship game between Jack Calhoun and Tim Sharp.
3 pins separating the two. Jack, with a spare here, would keep the deficit at 3 pins, but count becomes a factor. Tim Sharp is on a spare. He could lose some count. Speaking of the count, Rudy Dukes, Rudy Fassel is here again today. He's in the crowd somewhere.
And there is a spare for Jack Calhoun, who now sits with a 67 in the 4th frame. He is leading Tim Sharp, and we have an exciting conclusion ahead to our championship match. As you see, Tom Murphy, our proprietor. Tim Sharp in the 5th frame needs a strike to stay within 3 pins of Jack Calhoun. And we will see, Dave Newrath, if Tim can indeed stay right in there.
No doubt about it. Here at Stones Lanes, we're glad to announce that the Ball Shop, sponsored by the Lanes here, their pro shop, which excellent drilling and fitting, finished 2nd in the scratch division of the city tournament.
Ran it by for a brook, he couldn't get the 10.
Couldn't quite get over there, Fred. The ball was going high the whole way down the lane. Very fortunate to break down the split. Deficit now 4 pins. Tim Sharp had an excellent opportunity there to start building on something with a strike, but we have a very close match, and watch Tim Sharp make the spare, shooting cross lane. no problem, taking a little bit off the ball as he normally does. Jim Cochran, president of the Ohio State Bowling Association, is also here this morning. Really brought him out here at Stones Lanes, and next week qualifying rounds will be conducted at Harrison Bowl. If you'd like to make a reservation, try to come on out. Call the BPA office at 761-9274.
Tim Sharp, 6th frame, left lane. Got them all.
Excellently played shot there, Fred. Went with a little more speed. Excellent, excellent shot. Good adjustment from Tim Sharp, as we see here, concentrating on getting through the ball with some authority here, putting a little more speed on it. The ball holding the trajectory, going down the lane, finishing perfectly in the pocket. Excellent shot. Jack needs this strike to stay right with him. And the patented Wally shot that we watched Jack throw so often last week at Montgomery Bowl, the 7-pin not going out today, Fred. The light mixer that Jack Calhoun normally carries is letting him down right now. Let's see if he can cover this spare. Tim Sharp will have the advantage with a strike up. The deficit 3 pins. Shooting cross lane for the spare. Just making it. I'd like to welcome an old friend of mine back to the fold, Charlie Golfus. Back to the member of the BPA. Bought LaRue Lanes over by me in Highland Heights, Kentucky. I'd like to welcome you back, Charlie. Glad to see you.
Jack Calhoun. About time for a strike.
Got to have it. The concentration, the approach of Jack Calhoun needs a strike right here. Oh, just tripping out the 10-pin. Fred, 6-pin going to the gutter. Give a little karate chop there on the 10, as we're going to see here on the replay. The 3-pin, just to the right of center of your screen, will go to the wall, lay in the channel, and then come up and then kick the 10-pin just the way it's supposed to.
Tim Sharp now. 7th frame, right lane. Yes, sir, as he gets a double.
Light mixer, that changes the whole complexion of the game. I keep saying the 3-pin, Fred. What'd you put in my coffee this morning? That's a 6-pin doing the work on the 10-pin there. But my mind's already in Chicago, I think. I'm really looking forward to the U.S. Open. It's a grueling format. 8 games Monday, 8 games Tuesday, 8 Wednesday. They cut the field to the top 60. Thursday morning, you bowl 8 more. They cut to the top 24. Those 24 bowl 8 Thursday, 8 Friday morning, 8 Friday evening, cut to the top 5 for television, as we watch Tim Sharp really put the hammer on Jack Calhoun. We have a very, very tight match if Jack strikes here. 106 for Jack in the 6th frame, 113 for Tim Sharp. Jack Calhoun needs this strike to stay right in the hunt. And he's got it, Fred.
Tripped it.
Yes, with the 6-pin. I can't believe it. I keep saying the 3, but the 6-pin really did its job there. We're going to watch here on the replay. Ball entering the pocket in the perfect area. 1 and a 3 going back. 6-pin going to the gutter, leaning on the 10, knocking it over. Jack Calhoun, with a strike in the 9th frame, will regain his 3-pin lead. Way wide, hung up in the ball. Very, very bad. You see him there looking at his thumb, wondering, what in the world did I do? A little quick to the foul line, hung up in the shot. Let's watch it here on the replay as we watch way more loft than he normally gets. Knows the ball has no chance of hooking back from that area, leaving a 5 count on a double. The count is going to kill him. The spare is you just shoot your regular strike ball. And if you throw it in a 1-3, you're going to get them all down, but he's going over on the other side.
And he still got them all down. So Jack Calhoun at 151 in the 8th with a spare up.
Not quite the execution that we would expect to see from Jack Calhoun. Tim Sharp now has full control of this match. With a strike here in the 9th frame, he could all but put Jack away. A couple of spares, 9th and 10th, he will still win the match. Just got to stay off the nose.
He trips the 10.
Carbon copy of Jack Calhoun's strike on the right lane. 6-pin going to the gutter. Just kind of leaning on the 10 as we see the replay here. Tim Sharp knows that he can put the match away, throws his shot with good amount of authority, 6-pin going there, bouncing off the wall, just knocking the 10-pin out. Mathematically, and for all intensive purposes, with any sort of account here on his first ball in the 10th frame, he will win and be our new king next week. That's it.
He got it. Another strike. That gives Tim Sharp 5 in a row. At a 173 in the 8th, working on a double. He was the 5-time king in 1981 as you look at the score sheet there, and we'll look at this Tim Sharp strike again.
Excellent. He knows he can put it away. Take it completely out of the hands of Jack Calhoun with a strike right here. Throws the ball as well as you possibly can. 10-pin going out late, but going out.
Back to live action and another strike for Tim Sharp.
Tim Sharp will finish in the 230 range, and I've got to make a phone call before I leave the city because I had 50 on Sharp to win. He looked good in the warm-ups, and you can really see it. I mean, enthusiasm, intensity, it's part of the game, and Timmy had it this morning. Jack and Hef didn't. The only one I thought might give him a show is Rick. 233 for Tim Sharp. Jack Calhoun is out of the match, but he will just finish up, hopefully, with a 201 with 3 strikes in the 10th frame. Hung up in the ball again. Excuse me, Fred.
I'm sorry. He got a 9 there in the 10th. Tim Sharp did not strike until the 6th frame, and from that point, he did nothing but strike.
Made a couple of changes in his game plan. He moved around a little bit and increased his speed. We talked about speed in the other game that helped him defeat Rick Pollard, and in that game there it was hurting him. He went to a harder shot, a little more direct with the ball, and it created for him the area and the hitting power that he needed.
Jack Calhoun with a strike here can finish with a 190. He is working on a spare in the 10th.
Jack Calhoun, very creditable bowler, just not on today. Tim Sharp's day, no taking it away for him, but he finishes out with a very powerful strike for a 190 game. Not bad, but not good enough to defeat Tim Sharp's 233, Fred.
So Tim Sharp, who didn't strike until the 6th, but from that point hit 7 in a row, finishes with a 233 to beat Jack Calhoun. And we will meet our top 4 bowlers and talk with the king, Tim Sharp, when we come back on the BPA King of Bowling. Norwood, and here is Dave Newrath with proprietor Tom Murphy.
Thank you, Fred. We'd like to thank you for a good show here today, Tom. Always good to be here. Why don't you hand out Bill Heflin's check, loser of the first match, $150. Bill, come over here for a second. Notice it wasn't quite your old normal self. Were you up a little late last night?
Oh, a little bit, yeah. Out bowling naturally.
Okay, yeah, I brought it up that you just didn't look like you had the authority on your ball that you had the couple of weeks ago where you bowled so good. Where were you last night?
It was over at Western Bowl, bowling in the Hoinky Classic with our 5 left-handers.
How'd you do?
We took over scratch leader in the team event, and we had a couple of good doubles sets too also.
That's enough. We'll talk to you later. Bill, congratulations. Rick, come on in here. Rick Pollard losing the second match, 225. Rick, you had a little problems today. What seemed to be the problem out there?
Just the right lane itself. I don't know. Just you move to the right, his ball don't come up. You go to the left a little bit. I don't know. It's just weird.
You looked a little perplexed.
Right. I'm a little tired right now too.
Oh, another tired one. $225, Rick Pollard. Jack Calhoun, come on in. Jack, excellent shot. $375. Jack, looked like you were really going to put the hammer on Tim there in the 9th frame, and you hung up in the ball. What happened there?
Well, I've got a new plug in that ball, and I just didn't quite have the feel of the ball all day that I wanted. That was a key shot. My feet might have got a little quick, and then I gripped the ball, and it wouldn't come off.
Chain reaction sort of a thing. Jack, excellent showing anyway. Thank you very much. Fred, back to you.
Thank you very much, Dave. You're talking about all these tired guys around here. Let's bring in a fresh one, Tim Sharp. Tim, congratulations, $750 on behalf of the BPA. Talk a little bit about that line. It seemed to be a little tough today.
Yeah, they were constantly changing as we bowled, and it was kind of hard to keep up with them.
So how did you make the adjustment?
I moved inside a little and threw a little more speed to cut the hook down a little bit.
What happened in that last game? You didn't strike until the 6th frame, but after that you filled them all.
Well, that's when I moved in a little more and threw the ball a little harder. So it worked out pretty good.
All right, we're going to see you out at Seymour trying to qualify for next week. We don't have to see him out there. He's going to be back on next week's show. We invite you to qualify out at Seymour today, and next week we'll be at Harrison Bowl, the qualifying there, and the show will be at Seymour, so be sure and join us then. For Dave Newrath, Tom Murphy, and our new king, Tim Sharp, I'm Fred Khalil. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week right here on the BPA King of Bowling.